Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Welcome back. This is Carl with the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. I'm here with none other than Kelly Cook, and today we're talking about different kinds of marketing on how to market your listing, specifically with offline strategies. So, Kelly, I understood last time you talked with Elizabeth about how to do a lot of that like online marketing, and a lot of that does go a lot of online, but what kind of strategies do you implement for offline?
Yeah, no, thanks, Carl. Appreciate it. It's always great to be here and to hopefully bring some value to our listeners here today in the real estate community. There are obviously, now we all know that, let's be very clear here. Let's get this out of the way. 97, 98% of all people start their real estate search online. Okay. So this is not to say that you should go out and buy a bunch of magazine ads or, postcards and all this stuff, right? There's a time and place for that stuff, but that's not what this is about. This is about strategies that have to do with selling someone's house for top dollar, but not just posting it on a website or nothing to do with social media, right? So there are quite a few strategies you can do. We talked about in a previous podcast, and I believe that we talked about specifically our system of launching a listing to the market. Okay, there's a lot that goes with that. Specifically, one offline strategy is a launch open house. Okay. Now, NAR does stats every single year on where basically buyers found their homes and how homes sold and what sources they came through. Last year, Carl, 2019, open houses were about 7 to 8%. So 7 to 8% of all homes that sold due to an open house. So it's not a huge number. But again, you have to be a spoke, right? You have to have multiple spokes. You have to be the hub right in the middle of that wheel, right? To try to get all of this marketing plan, just as good as possible to get that word out there to hit every single place people are looking, small or big numbers. Okay. So offline strategy is a launch open house. Okay. So it's good old fashioned. Now there's a whole system behind this, but it's good old fashioned marketing for the open house. But when the open house specifically occurs, there's several things you can do. Number one, call the neighborhood around the open house. Okay, invite them. Hey, I have a new property that just came on the market, and we're doing an open house this weekend on Saturday from 1 to 4, whatever it is, and we love to have you come to the open house. Do you know of anyone looking to move into your neighborhood? And to see what they say, right? Most of the time, people are going to say, "Yeah, thanks, but no, I'm good." But it's bringing the awareness to them that the house is on the market and that there is an open house there. Okay. That's number one, calling around the open house. Now, you can also use the excuse, quote unquote, of a new listing on the market or a price reduction or some sort of message to call around the listing, right? It doesn't have to be just an open house. We're talking about from inception, soup to nuts here, A to Z. So when the house was on the market, it's the first thing you can do with an offline strategy, okay? And then what I'd highly recommend as strategy number two is when the open house is over, then you can door knock, right? Around the open house. Now, that is a lost art to some degree. And I know that sounds a little daunting, but guys, I'm telling you right now, you need to have a strategy. And if you have a strategy to door knock, it is not that scary. Okay. And here's a strategy I would recommend. The open house is over. Okay. Now we have a 10-10-10 strategy. Okay. Now, typically if we're going to do a door knocking campaign, we're 10 doors to the left, 10 to the right, 10 across the street. All right. However, in this strategy, you might have to go further out than 10-10-10. It could be 25-25-25, although you're not hitting 75 doors. Let me explain. Okay. I know you're on the edge of your seat, everybody, especially you, Carl. I can tell. So, all right.
Well,
so
my first thought was, well, okay, if somebody doesn't have a phone, but I mean, in this day and age, who doesn't? But still, even door knocking can get those extra people.
That's right. That's right. And so what you do is, let's say you have somebody, I would say that 9 out of 10, if not more, people that come to your open house don't like the house. The NAR stats suggest it's about 7-8%. So it is a little less than 9 out of 10, right? So that come in don't like the open house. They're not going to make an offer on the house. So what they are interested in is possibly living in that area. So you have the opportunity to help them at this point. Okay, so you know, in dialogue, you find out if they've seen other properties on the market, and let's just say they're very savvy and they have. Okay, well, what you can do, what the opportunity to do as an agent is go out and try to find them a house that fits their criteria in the neighborhood that's not on the market. Be different, right? So what you can do as a second offline strategy, and this will help sell your house, right? Is you go out there and you say, well, what is it that you don't like about this house? Well, I don't like the fact that, you know, I don't know, let's make something silly up. It's a 2-story. Okay. Well, then so you just want single-story homes? Yes, I do. And nothing on the market that's listed for a single-story home is good or is to my liking. Okay, great. So then what you can do after the open house is you can go to the left, to the right, across the street, go as far as you can in, say, a matter of an hour. Give yourself an hour time so it's not a never-ending marathon here, right? And you look at every single house in the neighborhood that's a single-story home. Right? I mean, it's as clear as that. You can see if it's single story, 2-story, right? So you knock on the door, hey, and the script is something like this. Hey, this is Kelly. I just had to open a house here. You probably saw my signs out the neighborhood. Just got done here at 4 o'clock. We had a gentleman or a family or whatever, right, walk into our house, and they want to be in this neighborhood, but they don't want a 2-story home. And the house you saw, I was probably sitting, is a 2-story home for sale. I see your house here is a 1-story home. Have you ever thought about possibly selling? It's that simple. And they might, and very rarely will somebody get mad because they're trying to do a good job and trying to hustle and be different for another client, right? Especially if you have the human touch to it on this, Carl, right? You know,
Definitely.
hey, look,
you got to have a smile and like a smile, a kindness. You can't just go in like looking for money.
correct. That's right. That's exactly right. And if you explain to them even potentially who the buyer is, you know, it was a family, 2 kids, you know, in elementary school, whatever, right? Make it real because it is real. And you say that they're just trying to be in this neighborhood, then there's a big chance that, or a high probability, they're not going to hang up on, they're not going to slam the door on your face, not going to be rude to you. They might not want to sell. That's fine. You can simply follow that up by asking, well, what price would you sell? Because they're probably willing to pay market value. And that might lead into another conversation of, well, in that case, I mean, I don't know, what's my homework? Great question. I'd love to find out more about your home and maybe walk through it right now or come back later, another time that works for you, and be able to look at the upgrades inside the house, see how the floor plan flows, and then give you an accurate number as to what I could probably sell it for to that person, right? So there's ways to skin this cat, and that now you get your house sold. Maybe you obtain a new client, you know, which is another nice byproduct here. And so that's another offline strategy. It does take a little work, but if you have a system and you're consistent in doing this, Carl, guys, I'm telling you, you'll strike out on 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, but that 4th day, if you keep doing it, somebody's going to say, sure, yeah, you know, I'm kind of interested, maybe like in a year. Okay, it's not immediate, but now you have somebody that might want to sell in a year. And if that buyer is patient enough, maybe they can wait around for a year. I don't know. But it's all things you can do. Now, obviously, we all know about, switching gears to number 3 here, we all know about postcard campaigns, just listed, just sold. You can do that. In fact, I would highly recommend to do that if it's in your farm area, your geographical farm area that you're already very busy and highly active in. If it's in some area of town or you don't farm at all and you have a listing for sale, to mail 200, 500, whatever postcards around the neighborhood saying, hey, I just put this house in the market, I don't know if that's going to be the best use of your dollars, right? So you have to determine that based upon some other factors, right? But then nonetheless, that could be a very effective third strategy for selling a property offline. And those are the three main ones I want to cover today. Okay. Now, obviously, networking is a big one. Making sure you're out there with agents talking about your property, having a good reputation amongst other agents.
So
well.
It seems like, if I may, it seems like a lot of these, the 3 main strategies even kind of revolve around being able to have a good conversation with people. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a contact sport, right? And I guess, I'll say one more and maybe be a 4th strategy, excuse me. But this is a good one too. And I've done this several times as well, is when you have a property in the area, what if you had somebody in your office or yourself, you know, because maybe you're a solo agent, look up who the agents are in that neighborhood or that zip code that have sold the most real estate in the past year. It takes a little time, but it's not hard to pull in anyone's local MLS. And then you say, okay, great. I'm going to call the top 10. Let's cap it there. You can call more if you want and tell them about this new property you just signed up that may not even be on the market yet. And now, hey, I'm giving you the notice that it's because you sell a lot of business. I'm gonna give you the courtesy to know that I have this new property coming up in this area. Do you happen to know of anyone that's looking to buy? And guys, if they sell a lot of real estate in this area because they're a top agent in the area, they may know somebody. And then boom, you got an off-market showing before it even hits the market and possibly could even sell it. So pretty powerful. So I'm going to officially, Carl, call that a fourth strategy.
I'd say it's good then. I'd say it's good.
So that's the main thing I want to get by today. I think there's people, you can break this down in a lot of different things, but having an online strategy and an offline strategy are both important because the NAR, according to the NAR, there is a strategy to both. I mean, the number one thing is obviously people start buying their house online, and most people do find their house, they end up purchasing online. That's number one. Number two is through a real estate agent. So you can make the argument through a real estate agent is through MLS. Yes, it is. That's a digital strategy. But if you actually want to sell the house potentially before it even hits the market and do yourself, or even after, but even before is very powerful, call that list of top 10 agents in the area that sell the most real estate. And you'd be surprised. Boy, I tell you what, and your client probably wouldn't thank you. They would think the world of you, right? Oh my goodness, you sold for even, you knew somebody who knew somebody or whatever, right? To buy my house. What's the chances? So very effective strategies there.
All right. I think that's great. It's a lot of great information. Yeah.
Yeah. This whole point of this podcast is to give some really quick hitters, quick information, not be a marathon. People can listen to it really fast, get hopefully a nugget or two or three, and then move on about their day, and then come back next week and listen to the next thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So then I guess in the meantime, while people are thinking about how to get a hold of you, if they want more information about this or other topics, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, Carl, absolutely. So definitely they can call the office here at 480-442-9868 here in Scottsdale, Arizona, or they can email us at info@kellycookhomes.com. I promise I will get that email and I'll read it and I'll respond. Love to help. And if there's any conversation somebody ever wants to have about, coaching, privately, that's something that we do a little bit of and would always be open to that conversation as well. Somebody wanted an ongoing, and not just advisor, but accountability partner as well.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for talking with me again, Kelly Cook. This is Kelly Cook Real Estate, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook podcast.
Well, thanks, Carl. Appreciate it. Until the next time.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.